Hello, 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 and welcome back to Call the Wordsmith, the YouTube channel. Today, we step quietly into the inner architecture of a mind that I experienced for the first time not too long ago, and it's one filled with echoes, corridors, and unspoken truths. Today, we explore Mansion by NF featuring Flurry. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And this particular piece has been heavily requested following my first time reaction to Fear. And based on what I've been told, it is for good reason. So, folks, if you are new here, if thoughtful analyses, lyrical depth, and emotionally honest conversation are the sort of things that speak to you, then you are most welcome here. And should you feel inclined, please do consider liking this video, sharing it with fellow NF fans, maybe a Facebook page if there is a fan page, I don't know, commenting with your thoughts, and of course subscribing to the channel. It truly helps this little corner of reflection continue to grow. Please do help in that regard. I am trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, and a massive thank you for the immense generosity for those folks displayed on screen who get to enjoy bonus perks and benefits as YouTube channel members and patrons. Should you wish to support the channel further, you can do so via the links in the description below to my Patreon, my PayPal, super thanks, or by becoming a YouTube channel member. All of the relevant links, once again, are in the description below. Thank you to everyone who has supported the channel thus far. Now then, without further ado, let us dive straight into it, shall we? Okay, so highly requested, it's Mansion, NF featuring Flurry. Hope I said that right. But anyway, here we go.
Insidious is blind inception. What's reality with all these
So this is Flurry, yeah?
Feels like I missed my alarm and slept in.
Huh.
Broken legs, but I chase perfection.
Oh.
These walls are my blank expression.
Good lyrics.
My mind is a home I'm trapped in, and it's lonely inside this mansion.
Okay. I'm kind of seeing where the vibe is going already. Yeah. She's got a good vocal. Very clean. Almost talk-like. Well, bloody hell. So from the very first few seconds of Mansion, we are ushered gently into the unsettling world of NF's inner spectrum. And it's through the spectral voice of Flurry, whose delivery exists in that liminal space between speech and song. It's a conversational hush that nonetheless remains impeccably centered in pitch. Her tone is very clear, it's restrained and eerily intimate, recalling the confessional minimalism of someone like a Billie Eilish. And her performance is serving a far more ominous narrative in regards to the purpose of her presence. And look, I'm listening to the song for the first time, and these opening lines unfold like a philosophical soliloquy whispered in the dark. The lyrics, "Insidious is blind inception." Now, that suggests to me thoughts planted so subtly that they masquerade as truth, while what's reality with all these questions? That sort of captures the vertigo of a mind drowning in introspection, the haunting metaphor of having missed my alarm and slept in. That speaks not of laziness, but of existential dislocation, the terror of feeling late to one's own life, I guess. And I love this line, "Broken legs, but I chase perfection." That's a devastating admission of relentless self-demand despite emotional injury. And when she confesses that these walls are my blank expression, we begin to understand that the mansion is not opulence, but isolation, vast, echoing, and devoid of warmth. And ultimately, my mind is a home I'm trapped in. That sort of just crystallizes the song's central thesis, doesn't it? That a psychological imprisonment can be the most luxurious and most suffocating cage of all. And as that final line lingered, It's lonely inside this mansion. We are left not merely hearing NF's pain, because I'm assuming he wrote that, but standing within it, surrounded by its silent rooms, already sensing that this journey will be as raw as it is revelatory. And that's what I'm getting initially. Okay, I'm assuming NF is going to start rapping at this point. So here we go. A bit of fading
Yo, my
reverb.
mind is a house with walls covered in lyrics. They're all over the place. The songs in the mirrors
Interesting
written all
metaphor.
over the floors, all over the chairs. And you get the uncut version of life when I go downstairs. That's where I write when I'm in a bad place and need to release and let out the version of
vocal
NF you don't want to see. I put holes in the walls with both of my fists till they bleed. And you might get a glimpse of how I cope with all this anger in me. Physically abused. Now that's the room that I don't want to be in. That picture ain't blurry at all. I just don't want to see it. And these walls ain't blank. I just think I don't want to see them. But why not? I'm in here, so I might as well read them. I gotta thank you for this anger that I carry around. Wish I could take a match and burn this whole room to the ground. Matter of fact, I think I'ma burn this room right now. Somehow this memory for some reason just moved you down. Put me in the corner so you could see the fear in my eyes. Then took me downstairs and beat me till I screamed and I cried. Congratulations, you'll always have a room in my mind. But I'ma keep the door shut and lock the lyrics inside.
That's tough. That's really tough, man. Okay, well let's analyze that. There was a lot of lyrics within a very short amount of time, so this may end up being a long video. Okay, so NF began. His voice initially arrives frayed at the edges. It's steeped in vocal fry that feels less like a stylistic affectation and more like an emotional residue. You know, the sound of a man dragging words up from the depths before they are ready to breathe. And halfway through, however, that section, that restraint fractures and his tone hardens into something more forceful, more impassioned, as though the very act of articulation ignites the fire required to sustain it. And I love hearing that sort of brute texture to his vocal. And lyrically, damn, this passage is nothing short of harrowing. The mind as house metaphor that he uses evolves into a labyrinth of trauma where lyrics wallpaper the walls, songs stain the furniture, and memories refuse to remain politely confined. The descent downstairs becomes a symbolic plunge into the subconscious. And by subconscious, I'm referring to the place of unfiltered truth where writing serves not as craft but as catharsis, releasing a version of NF that is raw, volatile, and unpalatable to the faint-hearted, I would say. His admission of punching walls until they bleed it's not just for shock factor, but it's a visceral illustration of how anger seeks embodiment when language alone is insufficient. And when he names the room of physical abuse, refusing to look yet unable to erase it, it's like I feel uncomfortable because the song transcends confession and enters personal testimony. And that's what makes it most chilling of all, is the acknowledgement that these walls were never blank. Denial, not absence, was the true barrier. And the bitter irony of thanking his anger underscores how trauma becomes both tormentor, but also his fuel. By the time he declares that his abuser will forever occupy a locked room in his mind, lyrics sealed behind a closed doors, we are not witnessing vengeance, but survival. A man reclaiming authorship over his own internal architecture, deciding which memories may echo and which must remain forever unheard. It's an interesting dichotomy. I think if I had to sum up everything I've heard, I would say that these lyrics thus far are the sound of a soul mapping its own scars, and it's transforming unspeakable pain into locked doors, written walls, and the fierce, defiant act of choosing who may enter the mind. Okay, I can anticipate this is going to be a very, very tough song. So closed captioning, for some reason, is not enabled on this. So I've actually got a Google search of all of the lyrics, and I'm just running through those. In case you see me like looking down here, that's what I'm looking at. All right, so let's continue.
I'll always have a room in my mind, but I'ma keep the door shut and lock the lyrics inside.
Insidious as blind
Oh, Flurry. So we're back at the chorus.
With all these questions, feels like I missed my alarm and slept in.
Interesting. This chorus hits differently after the first verse.
These walls are my blank expression. My mind is a home I'm trapped in, and it's
that line.
inside this mansion.
The song is just full of bars.
Inside this mansion.
Yo, my mind is
Yeah, the song is just filled with bars. And what was this? Was this B minor? No, B flat minor. Yeah, I think that's what the song is in. And it sounded like it was in fours. Anyway, let's take a look. Okay, so we've returned to the chorus by Flurry. And the song sort of falls back in on itself when we look at how it's been structured. Her voice is now re-entering exactly as it first arrived, poised between speech and song, again, emotionally restrained yet achingly precise, as though it's giving me the imagery as though the mansion's doors have gently swung shut behind us. And musically, I picked up, well, at least it's worth noting how exquisitely this refrain is anchored. The piece resides in B flat minor, and that's a key that's long associated with introspection and shadowed emotional weight, lending the harmony a subdued gravity that perfectly mirrors the lyrical desolation. And in terms of the timing signature, it's in fours. And what that means is that it provides an unyielding, almost heartbeat-like pulse beneath the fragility above. So very, very interesting. And the rhythmic constancy is crucial because it grounds us, the listeners, even as the narrative spirals inward, suggesting that while the mind may fracture and wander its echoing corridors, time itself marches on, indifferent and exact. So Flurry's return in this regard feels less like a repetition and more like a reckoning. The same words, the same melody, but now colored by everything NF has confessed in the verse prior. And as I am attempting to express my thoughts to you through this moment, it becomes clear to me that this chorus now no longer merely introduces loneliness, but it confirms it, standing as the emotional spine of the song. It's unchanged, it's unwavering, and haunting in its calm acceptance of isolation. And at least that's what I'm feeling through this part of the song. Let me know what you think. Okay, so this song is one chorus, verse, and a chorus in, and I can already tell the song is quite special, but let's keep it going.
Inside this mansion. Inside this mansion.
Yo, my mind is a house with walls covered in pain. See, my problem is I don't fix things, I just try to repaint.
Try to repaint.
Say I wish I could change. Are you confused? Come upstairs and I'll show you what I mean. This room full of regrets, just keeps getting fuller it seems. Moment I walk into, it's the same moment that I want to leave.
He's articulating things I thought.
Look at these things, but it's hard to look past when this is the room where I sleep. I look
Oh.
around, one of the worst things I wrote on these walls was the moment I realized that I was losing my mom. And one of the first things I wrote was I wish I would have called. But I should just stop now, we ain't got enough room in this song. And I regret the fact that I struggle trying to find who I am. And I'll lie to myself and say I do the best that I can. Shrug it off like it ain't nothing, like it's out of my
Oh,
hand.
man.
Tick off whenever I see it affecting my plans. And I regret watching these trust issues eat me alive. And at the rate I'm going, I'll probably still be there when I die. Congratulations, you'll always have a room in my mind. The question is, will I ever clean the walls off in time?
Oh, what a bar. Jeez. You see, if I'm maybe permitted to go on a bit of a tangent here, it's stuff like Ren and NF that I gravitate towards because it's music. It's not just something that sounds good, but it has lyrics with substance, meaning, profundity, things that hit you where you live. And personally, I don't even really listen to music on the radio nowadays, even if I'm going for a drive. I just listen to the things that I know I like or have listened to before. Because I don't know about you lot. You can tell me in the comment section below. I am tired of hearing songs about sex, money, drugs, genitalia, horniness. It gets old. It gets boring. Some of them sound good, and sometimes things like that can be wielded in an articulate, poetic manner. But nowadays, that's just not the case. There's less and less substance in music as the years roll on. And then, thank God, we get people like NF, people like Ren, the Fozia, Dimash, and then there are more famous people like Lewis Capaldi, Adele, who have substantive lyrics, let's say. So, yeah, really, really good thus far. The lyrics are unbelievable here, so let's dive into them. Alrighty, now, here, NF deepens the architectural metaphor into something profoundly psychological. Yeah, definitely psychological. And it's transforming the mind not merely into a house or a mansion, what have you, but into a site of chronic avoidance and unresolved grief where pain is not healed, but cosmetically concealed. We get the tip off of that when he uses the word repainted. So repainted rather than repaired. It's a painfully accurate portrait of the human tendency to prioritize survival over truth. And philosophically, this is the language of repression. Walls layered with denial, memories sealed beneath fresh coats of narrative, which is self-deception. And until the structure itself becomes unstable. When he invites us upstairs, we are led into the realm of conscious awareness, a room swollen with regret that grows heavier precisely because it is inhabited nightly. This is where he said he sleeps, meaning his rest is forever haunted by what he refuses to confront. So that sickness that he is describing is not metaphorical but psychosomatic, the body revolting against what the mind insists on carrying. And when he names the realization of losing his mother as one of the worst inscriptions on the wall, I've got the lyrics here in front of me, at that point then, the song reaches its most devastating philosophical truth. Regret is not only about what happened, but about what was left undone, the call that was never made, the moment that was missed forever. And his admission of struggling to know himself, of lying about doing his best, reveals an existential fracture. The self is divided between who he is, who he pretends to be, and who he fears he may never become. This man sings what we feel. And trust issues that he mentions, meanwhile, are framed not as flaws but as adaptive scars, eating him alive yet stubbornly loyal, likely to remain until death itself intervenes. And so this passage culminates in a question that transcends music and enters moral inquiry, not whether these rooms will always exist, for memory is indelible, as we all know. You can't forget the things that you've done and the things you haven't done. But whether he will ever find the courage to cleanse the walls rather than merely live among them. It is here that mansion ceases to be a song and becomes a meditation to healing itself. The terrifying, necessary act of choosing restoration over concealment. All right. I I think I'm just going to let the song play through. So here we go.
A room in my mind. The question is, will I ever clean the walls off
Chorus.
Insidious as blind inception. What's reality with all these questions?
That's an interesting
Feels like I
line.
missed
What's reality with all
one
these
and slept
questions?
and slept in. Broken legs, but I chase perfection.
Broken legs, but I
These
chase
walls are my
perfection
blank
is mad, by the way.
My mind is a home I'm trapped in, and it's only inside this mansion.
The mansion metaphor is
Inside this
very
So
critical.
this part of my house, no one's been in it for years. I built the safe room and I don't let no one in there.
It's safe
'Cause
space.
if I do, there's a chance that they might disappear and not come back. And I admit I am emotionally scared to let anyone inside. So I just leave my doors locked. You might get other doors to open up, but this door's not. 'Cause I don't want you to have the opportunity to hurt me. And I'll be the only person that I can blame when you desert me. I'm
Yeah,
barricaded inside,
I feel that.
so stop watching. I'm not coming to the door, so stop knocking.
Oh,
Stop knocking.
he's going hard.
God keeps saying I'm not locked. I chose this. I am lost in my own conscience. I know they're shutting the world down and
Jeez.
solving the problem, but I didn't build
Man,
this
I'm
house
feeling this
because
song
I
in a
thought it
different
would
way.
solve 'em. I built it because I thought that it was safer in there. But
I
it's
get it.
not. I'm not the only thing that's living in here. Fear came to my house years ago. I let him in. Maybe
That's a reference to
problem, 'cause
fear.
I've been dealing with this ever since. I thought that he would leave, but it's obvious he never did. He must have picked a room and got comfortable and settled in. Now I'm in
Wow.
a position it's either sit here
And he made the
and
song
let him
10 years
win or
later,
put him
right?
back outside where it came from, but I never can. Cause in order to do
Sure.
that, I'd have to open the doors. Is that me or the fear talking? I don't know anymore.
That's a bar. This entire song is just bars. But really just out freaking standing. And I see why you guys recommended this. Oh, there's Flurry again. Oh, is it Flurry?
Inside this mansion.
Freaking lyrical, profound masterpiece. There's no other way of describing that. I am so in for going down this NF rabbit hole. Please suggest more. I'm gonna have so much fun with this. Thank you for the recommendation. Yeah, let's have some final thoughts. That was unfreaking believable. This feels like a very, very long video. The song is deep. And it's deep because of passages like this that mark the philosophical heart of Mansion, where NF's metaphor evolves from architectural imagery into a devastating treatise on fear, right? So the fear and the agency and the self-imposed exile, the safe room he describes as not protection but preemptive isolation, a psychological bunker built after too many emotional invasions, where vulnerability is treated as existential risk rather than human necessity. So his terror here is not because of being hurt, but of culpability. If he lets someone in and they leave, the blame, which he insists, will belong solely to him. A profoundly tragic inversion of responsibility that reveals how trauma rewires moral logic. And spiritually, I did hear he is a Christian. There is a moment here where God tells him he is not locked in, and that is crucial because this is not divine condemnation, but divine clarity, the recognition that the person persists not because the door is sealed, but because he believes it's never open. Fear here is not personified as an intruder, but as a guest once welcomed for protection, a survival mechanism that overstayed its purpose and quietly claimed residency. So this is where the chilling philosophical paradox emerges. So bear with me. Fear cannot be expelled without exposure, yet exposure is precisely what fear forbids. As a result, the mind becomes a cohabited space where the self and its terror negotiate some manner of existence, neither able to evict the other without annihilating the illusion of safety. So I get what he's saying when he questions whether it is he or fear that is speaking. We witness the final erosion of identity at that point, the moment where defense mechanisms cease to serve the self and begin to become it. Again, Flurry's return on Lonely does not merely echo the chorus, it seals the thesis of the song. That isolation chosen for survival becomes isolation endured as punishment. And the mansion, which is vast, it's guarded and meticulously constructed, now stands not as a refuge, but as the loneliest place imaginable for NF. And I love the song because he so beautifully articulated things that I have felt, as well as things that many of us feel. This song invites us to walk its halls, sit with its silence, and perhaps recognize a room or two of our own. What I love here is NF's honesty. It's not ornamental, it is structural. Each lyric bears weight, each pause breathes meaning. Everything is intentional, and together they form something profoundly human. And look, I hope this analysis offered you not just insight, but a sense of shared understanding, because none of us truly wander our inner mansions alone when you think of it. So, hey, if this exploration resonated with you, I would be deeply grateful if you would leave a like, share this video everywhere, leave a thought in the comment section below, and pass this video along to someone who may find solace or clarity within it. And if you have yet to do so, please do consider subscribing. Again, I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, really want to get there very, very soon. And there are many more songs, stories, and lyrical journeys yet to come on this channel. Please do subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. Should you wish to support the channel further, you can do so via Patreon, PayPal, Super Thanks, or by becoming a YouTube channel member. All of the relevant links are waiting patiently in the description below. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, do be kind, do be gentle, do be respectful, and help one another when you can. And I'll see you lot in the next video. Take care, everyone. Cheers.